share, recipe share. Share a little recipe with Recipe Share. Recipe Share, Recipe Share. Share a little recipe with Recipe Share.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of Recipe Share, a program on AADL TV, where we take a few minutes to talk about recipes from a featured category. Today's category is restaurant copycats. I'm Beth, and I'm here with Elizabeth and Katie, and I'm really curious to see what you made this week. So Elizabeth, tell us about your recipe.
Cool. Thanks, Beth. I'm super excited about this one. This was so fun. So I actually copied a local establishment back, I would say, pre-pandemic, but even before that. So maybe 2018-ish, 2019, the Ruse Roast on Liberty made avocado toast, and it was like very inexpensive. If I recall correctly, it was like $4 or $6, and my office is at the downtown library, and I would go there and get a coffee and this toast in the morning, probably like 3 times a week, because it was just like so inexpensive. It was such a good snack or like a light lunch, and it's delicious. And I would go there so much that when they decided to stop doing it, I like came in and the employees were like, Elizabeth, I'm so sorry. We have like discontinued the avocado toast. And I was very sad, but luckily it's very easy to recreate. And I have been doing so from time to time, not all the time, but since then. So basically you get some good bread. I usually get sourdough, toast it. You spread a thin layer of goat cheese on each side after it's toasted. And then I use half an avocado. They would mash it up there, but I often just kind of slice it, put that over the goat cheese. And then you soft boil an egg and cut it in half, put each half on each little half of the piece of toast. Sprinkle some chili powder and salt on that, and then a squeeze of lime juice over top on each side. And I make it all the time. It is delicious. I have a photo here of me making it yesterday because I had the ingredients. I love the flavors, like the lime and avocado go so well. The goat cheese just has that delicious, like little bit of tang that Beth, I know you love. And then the chili powder is like fabulous little kick on top. So that is what I have been copying for years and continue to copy. And I just think it's an awesome little snack or breakfast or whatever you want to do.
That's so cool. Love it. First of all, love Ruse. So like Ruse is my favorite coffee in Ann Arbor. So anything from them is great. And I've never had any of their food. I follow them on Instagram now. And I feel like I know I've seen a picture of this toast. So I feel like they're doing it maybe pop-up style, like occasionally.
They are. So they do it like one Thursday a month or something like that. Now they've brought it back. And I have gotten it since, but it's not regular. It's like, it's pop-up, like you said. Yeah.
Well, and you know how to make it yourself too, which is so cool. And I have to say, like, the pictures that I've seen on Instagram look great, but I had no idea of all the ingredients that were in there. So it's cool to hear you describe it, because I had no idea that there was goat cheese, which is like amazing and something I wouldn't necessarily pair with avocado myself. And then the lime juice on top. You can't tell that's there in the picture, and that sounds like really good. So awesome. Yeah. Thank you for sharing.
It's a lot of little extra things that make it really special sounding. And you said that you do a soft-boiled egg?
I do, yeah. You can see in the picture, it's not, Ruse Roast used to do it pretty soft boiled. So like when you bit it, the yolk would kind of like ooze, which is very delicious. I haven't quite mastered that myself. I struggle like with making it, like it getting to that point. Like I've done it and then like the actual like white part is still runny, and that's gross to me. So it's usually mine's soft boiled, but not to the point where the yolk is still, it's like, just.
I'm thinking about poaching an egg. That would be just as good, right? I mean,
that would be
in the microwave. Yeah, it's so quick.
Super good.
Yeah. Okay. I might even like avocado toast. I'm not. It's not like, I don't know. Yeah. avocados, I don't like to just eat them plain or anything, but that sounds really yummy.
Well, they're expensive too, right? So I always struggle to like justify buying them unless they're on sale. But at least with this, I feel like when you use half, you can get, I don't know, you get a few days worth out of it. So
Cool.
cool. Okay, Katie, tell me about your restaurant. Tell us about your restaurant Copycat.
All right, I will. I too am very excited about this category. It was super fun. I found this really this fun cookbook. Basically, it's a top secret recipes, step by step, secret formulas with photos for duplicating your favorite famous foods at home by Todd Wilbur. And you can see on the cover here, Todd has created a Big Mac. Okay, and there's the little steps. And this book is really fun. There's tons of different, like, it's mostly chain recipes. So there's like Applebee's, Potbelly's, California Pizza Kitchen, Annie's Pretzels, PF Chang's, just like so many different like familiar names that people across the country might know of. I have to say, I don't eat at a lot of those restaurants, but there was one recipe that stood out in a major way for me when I saw it. And that is Ikea's Swedish meatballs. So it's not exactly a restaurant. Technically, it's a furniture store, but they do have a very large cafeteria inside, and it is one of the world's largest food retailers. So I love Ikea's meatballs. They're like, to me, the best part of going to Ikea, except for it's not really worth it to go to Ikea just for the meatballs, because at least our Ikea here in Michigan is super, super busy. And so you really need to have like your giant shopping list ready to go for it to be worth it for you to even step foot inside the store. So don't eat a lot of Ikea meatballs. So when I saw this recipe, I was like, yes, okay, I'm doing this. And I was so happily surprised with how this turned out. Tasted just like Ikea meatballs to me, and I've made it like 3 times now. Todd says that the secret to these meatballs is the mixture of meat that you use. So the ground beef should be 20% fat, and it's half ground beef, and then the other half is ground pork. So that's your meat mixture. And you also put in onion, egg, beef broth, breadcrumbs, salt, pepper, and allspice. So that's your meatball mixture. And you just, make up your meatballs. And then I really like the method of cooking these meatballs. You put them in the oven first to brown up. And so I'm used to just like doing it all in a pan. So that's really nice. And I have a picture. You can actually see that they do brown up really nicely in the oven, more than I would expect. And what's super great about this is you can then, at that point, once you take them out of the oven, you can freeze them. You can stop there and freeze and then do the rest of the recipe later. So what I've done is actually double the recipe and then freeze half. So freezing my meatballs now and then moving on with the rest of the recipe with the other half, which is awesome. So while your meatballs are baking, you can make your sauce. And so it's a cream sauce. It's got beef broth, heavy cream, cornstarch, apple juice, which is a bit of a secret ingredient, I thought, salt, garlic powder, onion powder, pepper, bay leaf. And basically you take all of it, except for the bay leaf, whisk it all together, heat it up till it's bubbling, throw the bay leaf in, let it cook for like 6 or 7 minutes, and your cream sauce is done. So that's like, it's just super easy and lovely to make while your meatballs are cooking. Then you throw your meatballs in a saute pan with some oil to just get a little bit more browning on them. And you pour the cream sauce all over top. When it's done, you serve it like that. Traditionally, you're supposed to serve these meatballs with lingonberry preserves. That's how they do it at Ikea. And I did look locally to see if I could find any of it. I could not. So I served it with a sour cherry preserve, which is lovely. But I've been thinking like cranberry sauce would be fine. And I usually have that in the house. So I'll probably do that in the future. The only other thing is that you can see here in the picture, there's something else, mashed potatoes, which I do not eat my Ikea meatballs without mashed potatoes when I eat at the store. So this recipe did not include mashed potatoes as part of it, but when I post this online, I will also include my favorite mashed potato recipe, which is very, very easy. I've been making it for years, and it actually comes from simplyrecipes.com. So it's just, I could tell you about it, but you know, it's potatoes, milk, cream, butter, and you cook it and make some mashed potatoes. But that is my restaurant / furniture store copycat recipe.
Very cool. I don't think I have not had their meatballs. I
That's
hear
what
about
I was
them lots.
gonna find out from you guys. Have you had them before?
I haven't. I mean, I've been to IKEA, but it like stresses me out, and I like am crying by the time I leave every time, no matter what. And like, I just am like, you know what's gonna push me over the edge, like waiting in line for a meatball. So I don't, but I know people love them. So I think I need to like buck up and like just like, you know, maybe like I don't know. I need to try them, but maybe I'll just try your recipe instead, Katie.
There you go. You don't have to go anymore.
Yeah, it's a lot easier to do it. You know, the thing about putting the meatballs in the oven is it gets rid of a lot of the fat. Well, I guess it would do that in the pan too, but yeah, that's how I've done meatballs.
Yeah, I feel like I've done it maybe before, but not regularly. And
Yeah.
it is nice. You can see the fat goes away.
Yeah.
And I will say that when I make meatballs, I always do mix those two meats. So
Okay.
I am that's, and I think that's like makes them so good. So I was excited when you said that because I was like, oh, those are going to be delicious. So
Yeah, it adds the more saltiness of the pork but not so fatty with it being 100%. But anyway, well, ladies, are you ready for mine?
Yes, we
I'm
are.
so ready. I'm so
Okay.
curious what it's going to be.
Okay, so I emulated the recipe from Frida Potatoes, which is the best snack ever. Are you familiar with it? Okay, so it's for those who don't know, it's a layered dish with coconut ginger rice, and then on top of it is black beans, you know, that have been cooked. So, and then, I mean, obviously, but let me just go back to the black beans that I attempted to make for our cool beans recipe. I ended up just freezing half of it because they weren't cooked all the way. And so I took them out of the freezer, and then I fashioned these beans. So I was really, really happy I could reuse them. But the snack itself, I didn't finish, has Munster cheese on it, and then a salsa, what do they call it? So yeah, it's just tomato lime salsa, tomato lime and cilantro. So it's a lot of steps. So what I did was I ended up, because I used the bean recipe from Smitten Kitchen, and I had Googled the best snack ever to see if it was, available. And there was, and I'm so sorry, I can't tell you the name of the site. I did post it on my recipe, but if you Google the best snack ever, this woman broke it down. And so I modeled it with that, but I also used my own sleuthing because I went to Frida Potatoes and I know that they do use Munster cheese. I also know that they have a cookbook too, but I just didn't let myself look at it. I didn't see the need. It wasn't Googleable, and we don't have it in the library. Anyway, so once I had the beans, I let those cook a couple more hours. I made the rice with coconut milk and ginger and cilantro, and then the grated Munster goes on top. Here's a picture of the pre-baked one. And then you sprinkle it with chili powder too, so that adds a nice little, it just adds some nice color, really. It's not super spicy. But and you bake it and for like 25 minutes, not that long, and then you serve it up. And now the recipe that I did find has them in like ramekin or small dishes. I did make a 9x13. I ended up freezing half of it, and just like another couple weeks later, when I needed something to serve, I mean for us, but there it was, and it was really good. I really thought it would be a nice dish to share with someone who, like, if you need a comfort meal of some kind. And even though it was a little more labor intensive than avocado toast, but that's not what we're here for. Anyway, it was good. I would definitely make it again because it's really something I enjoy. And it wasn't as a snack. We had it as a meal.
Yeah, that sounds really good. I'm excited that you did make it into a larger portion, like a casserole. So that's actually kind of a really exciting transition, I think, from the snack portion to like making it into a larger thing. That's really cool.
Yeah, totally. I was really pleased with that concept. And yeah.
Beth, I get that every time I go to Frida's because
Yeah.
I love it.
I do too. Yeah.
It's so good. And I have like made, I've done like beans and rice and cheese before, but I haven't done all the steps and I haven't baked it. And then did you make your own salsa?
Yeah, it's just with a tomato, lime juice, and cilantro.
Okay, so yeah, okay, yeah.
It's really, yeah.
Wow.
I love how like that when you eat it at Frida's, and I'm sure when you ate it, it adds that like freshness to the baked. It's so good. It sounds amazing.
Yeah, like I didn't realize it was a baked. I never knew really. I thought it was just like scoop of rice, scoop of beans. But it's baked together and yeah, very, very tasty.
Delicious.
Yeah. All right. Well, I want to say thank you for watching Recipe Share, and be sure to click the link below to look at the event page on aadl.org to find the recipes we talked about and share your own in the comments. This is the last of this particular season, so we'll be starting up with some new categories, and we appreciate you watching the show. Thank you.
Recipe share, recipe share, share a little recipe with Recipe Share.